The river is calm. The surface reveals nothing. The anaconda, absolute silence, hidden strength, infinite patience. It does not chase, it does not roar. It waits beneath the murky water. A minimal movement, a lightning-fast strike. On the shore, the calm is deceptive. The capybara, constant vigilance, life in groups, instinct to stay alert. It approaches the water, trusts the familiar routine. But in the jungle, 1 second is enough to change everything. Welcome to the wild Pantanal, where South America's predators reign. Every like and subscribe you give is a huge motivation for us to keep creating better and higher quality content. Don't hesitate to leave a comment below. We'd love to know that this video has connected us. In your opinion, which animal is truly the ultimate apex predator in nature? Without keeping you waiting any longer, let's get started. The Andes, those imposing walls of rock, emerged unexpectedly from the bowels of the earth, altering the course of ancient rivers. Everything was predestined. The water was trapped without a possible exit. As the Lord said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And so it was. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of waters he called sea. And God saw that it was good. And so the Pantanal was born, a vast floodplain in the heart of wild South America. But the Pantanal is not a quiet land. It is a place where change is the only constant. Under the soft mud, between floods and droughts, nature regenerates incessantly. Every form of life here must adapt, fight, and reclaim its place. With an area of up to 195,000 square kilometers, it is 20 times larger than the Everglades in Florida. More than 4,700 species of plants and animals inhabit it. For some species that are losing their natural habitat, the Pantanal is a lifesaver. This wetland area is home to the highest density of jaguars and caimans in the world. More than 200 species of mammals live here or migrate annually, along with numerous species of reptiles, 53 species of amphibians, 325 species of fish, and 650 species of birds. The Pantanal is a different world.
Los jaguares del Pantanal son auténticos guerreros. A diferencia de sus parientes en el Amazonas u otros bosques densos, deben adaptarse al ritmo extremo de los humedales estacionales. Cuando las aguas retroceden, cazan en tierra firme y aprovechan su habilidad para nadar para enfrentar caimanes negros de hasta 400 kilogramos. no solo son los depredadores más fuertes de Sudamérica, sino también símbolos de resiliencia y paciencia. A pesar de vivir en un entorno hostil, el jaguar desempeña un papel clave en el equilibrio del ecosistema. Al eliminar individuos débiles o enfermos, mantienen el equilibrio natural y protegen la salud de las poblaciones de herbívoros.
From Jaguars and caimans to cunning wild foxes.
En la cultura local, el jaguar es visto como el alma de esta tierra, la encarnación de la fuerza primordial y el orden natural.
The first drops of rain touch the earth.
En medio del pantanal seco y desafiante, su mirada dorada se convierte en un símbolo de supervivencia, donde solo los más fuertes, pacientes y adaptables pueden prevalecer. Y el jaguar continúa protegiendo su territorio en el corazón salvaje de Sudamérica.
Fish swim joyfully in the new waters, while flocks of birds return from distant lands. Everywhere, creatures prepare for the explosion of life that a prosperous rainy season brings. Life does not just begin. It explodes in a whirlwind of vibrant colors. It is also the moment when predators prepare for their feast. The Pantanal is no place for the weak. The rain has stopped, and the dry season arrives as a relentless test for all the creatures of the Pantanal. The mighty rivers of the rainy season are now reduced to small pools surrounded by extensive beds of cracked mud. The scorching heat fills the air with an oppressive sense of suffocation. Every living being struggles to find the most precious resource: water. This is not only a challenge of nature, but also a test of faith, because in Him all things were created. Both in the heavens and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones, dominions, principalities, or powers, everything was created through Him and for Him. The drought in the Pantanal does not mark its end, but is part of a natural cycle designed by God, where trials forge strength and resilience. The Creator Himself has designated the dry season as a necessary heartbeat in the heart of the Pantanal. If the rainy season is an overflowing grace, the dry season is nature's test. He allows the sun to burn in a cloudless sky, the earth to crack so that roots must go deeper, the rivers to recede so that life must face its limits directly. In that severity, nothing is meaningless. Every remaining drop of water becomes more precious, every step more cautious, every survival decision clearer than ever. The dry season not only tests the body, but exposes the true nature of all species. It is the sacred law that the Almighty has established. Life is not granted to exist easily, but to be tempered through difficulties. And it is precisely in the cracked earth, where life seems to wither, where the hidden power of the Pantanal is revealed most radiantly. The wetlands are fragmented, and the places that were once refuge for countless species now lie desolate and arid. The vegetation turns a yellowish-brown hue, giving off a dry smell under the relentless sun. Animals are forced to congregate around the last remaining puddles of water. These are not only sources of life, but also fierce battlefields where the strong prevail and the weak are quickly eliminated. The heat of the dry season makes the jaguar even more determined. It moves silently over the cracked ground, raising dust with every step. Its long tail maintains balance as it crosses the dry grass toward the last waterholes, where all species gather in a state of maximum alert. Its amber eyes are fixed on a capybara that has fallen behind the herd, absorbed in its thirst, unaware of the approaching danger. When the capybara takes a fatal step, the jaguar attacks instantly, accelerating to almost 60 kilometers per hour in a few steps and launching a powerful leap over its target. With a bite force of up to 1,500 pounds per square inch, it bites deep into the prey's neck. The struggle is brief before it is all over. The jaguar drags the capybara into the shade in the middle of the arid land of the Pantanal, where life and death are often decided in a matter of seconds. Just below the murky waters, a silent predator has appeared. It does not need to rush or show its strength, but when it attacks, no creature escapes its lethal constriction. The anaconda, the largest snake in the world, is the legendary symbol of the Pantanal. With a length of up to 8 meters and a weight exceeding 100 kilograms, the anaconda is like a colossal ghost lurking in the rivers. Do not be fooled by its imposing size. Unlike other large snakes that may seem docile, the anaconda is a calculating predator. Its dangerousness goes hand in hand with its massive appearance. It is a silent hunter that never fails. Its natural camouflage, which blends with the vegetation and mud, gives it a definitive advantage, especially during the night. The anaconda remains motionless under the murky waters. It does not pursue its prey impulsively. It is a master in the art of ambush. Its huge body mimics submerged branches or buries itself in the mud. The environment around it seems eerily quiet. Only its small eyes, which barely protrude from the surface, watch and monitor in silence. It reveals no sign of its presence. A mouse has entered a territory where it should never have ventured, whether out of carelessness or curiosity. A capybara also descends calmly to the riverbank without suspecting anything. Even a nearby, unsuspecting young caiman becomes a possible victim. The attack occurs in an instant, as fast as lightning. The anaconda strikes without giving its prey time to react. There is no possible escape. With a pressure of nearly 90 pounds per square inch, the constriction stops the blood flow and causes suffocation in a matter of minutes. That is the anaconda's lethal hunting strategy, relentless and infallible. A silent, colossal and terrifying killer in the heart of the Pantanal. The Pantanal is the ideal home for the anaconda. Mighty rivers, extensive lakes and dense vegetation provide refuge and abundant food. During the rainy season, when the waters rise, the anaconda expands its hunting territory, gliding through the flooded forests, lurking for any unfortunate creature that crosses its path. Although it is a formidable predator, the anaconda is not always hunting. A substantial meal can sustain it for weeks or even months. After a feast, it usually seeks a quiet place to digest, showing extraordinary patience. This is the moment when the anaconda is most vulnerable, as its slow metabolism during digestion makes it less agile and more susceptible to external attacks. The anaconda is a crucial link in the food chain of the Pantanal. It helps control animal populations and maintain the balance of the ecosystem. It usually hunts weak or sick prey, contributing to a healthier population of other species. In the world of the Pantanal, the largest creatures always have an irreplaceable role in the endless cycle of life. In another corner, where soft ripples form in the shallow water, a different creature reigns in its own domain. In the Pantanal, if the jaguar is the sovereign of dry land, under the water no one can dispute the throne of the Caiman yakare. With a population of approximately 10 million specimens, the Pantanal caimans constitute one of the largest concentrations of crocodilians in the world. Motionless under the murky water, the Caiman yakare only leaves its small bright eyes and its nostrils visible. With a length close to 3 meters and specimens exceeding 3.5 meters, it is a master of camouflage. Its olive green and brown skin blends perfectly with the sediment-filled waters. Any prey that approaches rarely detects the lurking danger. The caiman is not characterized by its speed. Its main weapon is absolute patience. A school of fish swims nearby, trapped in the confined space of a puddle. The caiman does not rush, its small eyes following every movement. The lower the water level, the fewer places its prey have to hide. Suddenly, the attack occurs. With a massive bite force of up to 2,000 psi, it catches the largest fish. The prey struggles weakly but has no chance of escaping the perfect predator. In seconds, everything returns to calm, as if nothing had happened. Any creature that ventures into this territory can easily become the Caiman yacare's next meal. The Caiman yacare does not hunt solely to survive. In the dry season, when water is scarce, every small puddle becomes a valuable territory that must be defended. An adult caiman does not hesitate to drive away smaller or less strong individuals to protect its source of life. In the Pantanal ecosystem, the Caiman yacare plays an essential role as guardian of the natural balance. It feeds on weak, sick or dead prey, keeping the water clean and ensuring the health of fish populations. Furthermore, it is a fundamental part of the food chain. The young or weaker individuals usually become prey for the jaguar, its greatest enemy. However, this relationship does not always favor the feline. In the water, where the caiman has the advantage, even an adult jaguar must act with caution when facing a Caiman yacare. The dry season in the Pantanal demands extreme adaptation. When water runs out, caimans deploy a unique survival strategy. They bury themselves in the moist mud, reduce their heart rate to only a few beats per minute, and enter a state of temporary lethargy, almost like hibernation. This ability allows them to overcome the harshest conditions, waiting patiently until the first rains return. And when the waters rise, the Caiman yacare resurges like a king, retaking his dominion over the watercourses of the Pantanal. If the jaguar is the fast and bold predator, the Caiman yacare represents the patience that defies time. Its existence depends not only on strength, but on its incredible capacity for adaptation to an extreme environment. Remember that under the apparent calm of the surface, there is a silent king watching and waiting for the right moment to reaffirm his power. The jaguars of the Pantanal are true warriors. Unlike their relatives in the Amazon or other dense forests, they must adapt to the extreme rhythm of seasonal wetlands. When the waters recede, they hunt on dry land and take advantage of their ability to swim to face black caimans, weighing up to 400 kilograms. They are not only the strongest predators in South America, but also symbols of resilience and patience. Despite living in a hostile environment, the jaguar plays a key role in the balance of the ecosystem. By eliminating weak or sick individuals, it maintains natural balance and protects the health of herbivore populations. In the local culture, the jaguar is seen as the soul of this land, the incarnation of primordial strength and natural order. In the middle of the dry and challenging Pantanal, its golden gaze becomes a symbol of survival, where only the strongest, most patient, and most adaptable can prevail, and the jaguar continues to protect its territory in the wild heart of South America. while the anaconda remains buried in the moist mud, waiting for the return of the waters. The dry season becomes a relentless battlefield where not only predators must adapt. For one of the most notable warriors of this land, the capybara silently demonstrates its strength and resistance. The capybara, the largest rodent in the world, can reach up to 1.3 meters in length and weighs on average 50 kilograms. Despite its impressive size, it lacks sharp claws or outstanding speed to face predators like the jaguar or the black caiman. Instead, its greatest weapon is the unity of the group. A predator does not face an isolated individual, but an entire herd. A herd of capybaras is usually made up of 10 to 30 individuals with a well-defined social structure. In the dry season, when the environment becomes more hostile, the size of the herd can increase, even exceeding 50 individuals. Living in a group significantly reduces the risk of being attacked. While some members remain alert on watch, the rest can feed or rest. At the slightest sign of danger, the sentinels emit a brief alarm sound, alerting the entire herd to launch quickly into the water. There they are safer, as capybaras are expert swimmers thanks to their interdigital membranes. They can glide agilely across the surface of the water. Water is both a refuge and a source of danger. When they feel threatened, capybaras can submerge underwater for up to 5 minutes, hiding completely from the sight of terrestrial predators. However, although they manage to evade the hunters on the ground, they still face the risk of being attacked underwater, especially by the black caiman, a relentless predator. The relationship between capybaras and caimans is both fascinating and unpredictable. In the Pantanal, it is not uncommon to see a caiman resting in the sun near a group of capybaras. However, this coexistence can transform into conflict in an instant. It is an interaction that can never be fully predicted. The dry season brings with it food shortages, but capybaras are masters at exploiting their environment. They feed on dry grass, roots, and the few aquatic plants that remain around the puddles. Thanks to their specialized system, they can process fibrous foods that few species could consume. Furthermore, they have the habit of reconsuming their feces, which allows them to absorb the remaining nutrients and maximize their energy in times of scarcity. In a shallow puddle, a group of capybaras rests, while the adults keep watch with their ears pricked and their eyes in constant motion. A slight noise from the other bank interrupts the calm. The predator has arrived to hunt a capybara. The jaguar needs to calculate every movement with precision, as a failed attack would alert the entire herd, which would escape quickly. The smell of the jaguar awakens the survival instincts of the capybaras. In an instant, they all launch into the water, splashing large ripples on the surface. However, not all hunts end in tragedy. The success rate of jaguars with capybaras is much lower than with other animals like deer. Thanks to the timely alert of the group, most capybaras manage to escape unharmed, ready to face a new day of challenges. The capybara is not only a key prey in the food chain, but also plays a crucial role in the balance of the ecosystem. They help control the growth of vegetation, preventing the invasion of unwanted plant species. Additionally, capybaras act as essential nutrient providers. Their droppings enrich the soil, facilitating vigorous growth of flora when the rains return. In the world of the Pantanal, filled with dangerous predators, the capybara is neither the strongest nor the fastest. However, it survives thanks to its unity, capacity for adaptation, and intelligence. Peaceable and docile in nature, it rarely enters into conflict with other species. Perhaps it is this calm disposition that allows them to have some of the best relationships in the wild environment, standing out as a symbol of coexistence and resilience in a hostile ecosystem. When the rainy season covers the Pantanal with an immense blanket of water, not all species are frightened. Among the flooded grasses and the wetland fringes, a tall figure emerges, slow but majestic. The marsh deer, an ancient inhabitant of shallow waters, appears as a reminder that this place does not only belong to predators, but also to those who survive with patience and perseverance. The marsh deer is widely present in the Pantanal, and this is one of the largest remaining populations of the species in the world. The largest deer in South America can weigh up to 125 kilograms and measure nearly 1.2 meters to the shoulder. The male's antlers can exceed 60 centimeters in length, extending like dry branches among the wetlands. Its long and strong legs allow it to wade through deep mud without getting stuck, while its wide hooves distribute its body weight, turning each step into a firm movement over the soft ground. But it does not only possess strength. The marsh deer also boasts a special beauty. When the sun is high and the morning mist dissipates, it usually seeks a tall pasture or the edge of a clear forest to rest. Its large body covered in golden fur shines under the sun, reflecting the tropical warmth. The dark patches of fur on the legs and neck create a strong contrast, highlighting its elegant silhouette despite its large size. It lies on its side, breathing slowly, with ears turning slightly to every sound near or far. Sometimes it stretches its front legs, with its head held high, receiving the sun, and its eyes half closed, as if contemplating the vast land before it. In that moment, the Pantanal ceases to be a battlefield to become a silent picture of harmony. For the indigenous peoples and the communities living around the Pantanal, the marsh deer is not just an animal. It is a symbol of water, of resilience, and of the deep link with the natural rhythm. Many communities consider the appearance of the deer near the grasslands as a sign of a favorable rainy season. In local culture, the marsh deer represents nobility and persistence, a peaceful but strong creature that lives in harmony with the land and the water. Its image appears in folk art and oral stories as a protective spirit of the wetlands. The marsh deer moves according to the rhythm of the two seasons. When the water rises, it retreats to higher lands. When the water goes down, it returns to the nutrient-rich flooded grasslands. Each year, a female usually gives birth to a single calf after a gestation period of about 8 months. The calves are born among the tall grasses, hiding in the tender green color of the rainy season. Their survival rate depends entirely on the stability of the environment and the abundance of vegetation. But the Pantanal always challenges the most peaceful creatures. Every time it lowers its head to drink water, it is a bet against danger. Jaguars silently patrol the riverbanks. A change in wind direction can reveal the scent of the prey. When it feels a threat, the marsh deer stands up in an instant, fleeing with long and powerful steps, splashing water as if it were rain. It does not need to be the fastest, it only needs to be fast enough to escape the mortal distance. Today, the marsh deer also suffers the impact of environmental changes. When wetlands are fragmented and grasslands are reduced, natural migration routes are broken. Populations become scattered, and calves are more vulnerable to prolonged droughts and forest fires. However, it remains present among the immense waters as a living symbol of the Pantanal. Under the glow of a red sunset reflected in the water, the silhouette of the marsh deer standing among the flooded grass creates a majestic and sacred scene. There, it is not just a herbivore. It is the incarnation of balance, of the rhythm of water and land, of the hope that the Pantanal still preserves its soul as long as creatures like it continue walking through the endless wetlands. In the middle of the rising waters, a pack of giant otters bursts in like arrows, breaking the calm surface of the crystal clear water. The fresh water brings with it an abundance of life, but also awakens the predatory instincts of the river kings. This is the moment when giant otters are busier than ever. They are not silent like the jaguar or discreet like the anaconda. On the contrary, their presence is vibrant and full of energy. With bodies that can reach 2 meters in length and a weight of up to 30 kilograms, giant otters are not only the largest of the mustelid family, but also the undisputed dominators of the Pantanal River. It is easy to notice that all species with webbed feet possess an extraordinary ability to swim and adapt to water, and giant otters are no exception. They can reach speeds of up to 14 kilometers per hour underwater. However, their power lies not only in their imposing size, but also in their social structure. A family of giant otters is generally composed of 5 to 10 members, led by an alpha breeding pair. Their powerful tails beat the water, splashing everywhere as the pack moves with amazing speed. A characteristic sound resonates, signaling the start of the hunt. Their loud vocalizations and impressive aquatic display are a blunt statement in the Pantanal. The leader of the pack, the largest and strongest, heads the group with a sharp gaze. He detects a school of fish hidden in the murky depths of the water. No fish is safe from the perfect hunting strategy of the giant otters. Without the need for big signals, a quick exchange of looks is enough for the whole pack to act in perfect coordination, each member assuming their position and role with precision. The small fish panic while being cornered toward the shore. The younger otters, with the enthusiasm of apprentices in their first hunts, wait like living traps. A powerful jump breaks the surface, catching a huge catfish that struggles desperately but unsuccessfully. The otter's family feast begins. Life in the Pantanal is not always quiet. The rainy season offers an abundant banquet for predators, where the big ones feed on the small ones. The black caiman is not only a formidable predator, but also the ancestral enemy of the giant otters. The leader of the pack is always alert to any threat. He raises his head and lets out a shrill cry that gathers the pack in a solid and defensive formation. They are ready to face any intruder who dares to cross their territory. Today, the food has been secure. The laughter and games of the otters resonate on the surface of the water, dissipating the tension of the environment. They swim and chase each other as if they were training the youngest of the group. But not everything is always so simple. The warriors of the Pantanal know well that in this land of wetlands, a single moment of carelessness could turn them into the prey of other predators. At the end of the day, the otter family returns to the riverbank, where they have built their home with large logs. The young are cared for and protected by the older members. The pack leader remains vigilant, observing the water with his ears pricked like radar. The Pantanal is in constant change, but the giant otters remain strong, resilient, and united as a family. And no matter if the river overflows or dries up, they will continue to be the tireless warriors who fight to protect their territory. Above the winding rivers and flooded forests, another creature reigns in its own domain. From the heights, the harpy eagle watches in silence, ready to execute a perfect hunt. With a wingspan exceeding 2 meters, the harpy eagle flies like a spectre in the sky without rushing. Its sharp eyes scan the dense forest canopy. At this height, the harpy eagle is almost invisible, camouflaged in the bluish-grey of the horizon. Below, a group of capuchin monkeys jumps nonchalantly among the branches, unaware of the danger that stalks them. The harpy eagle fixes its target, a small monkey somewhat removed from the herd, absorbed with a ripe fruit. a slight oversight and its position is exposed. Then the harpy eagle dives from nearly 30 meters high. At speeds of up to 80 kilometers per hour, everything happens in an instant. The harpy eagle encloses its prey with its giant talons, 13 centimeters long and as sharp as knife blades. The monkey only manages to let out a weak cry before being lifted from the ground. The rest of the capuchins panic. They run among the branches and emit alarm cries, but it is already too late. The harpy eagle ascends quickly, disappearing among the leaves with its loot. Returning to the nest at the top of the tallest tree in the forest, the harpy eagle lands carefully. Its nest, a solid structure built with large branches, is home to 2 chicks waiting anxiously. This is not just food. It is the first lesson for the next generation on how to survive and hunt in an environment as challenging as the Pantanal. The harpy eagle does not hunt just to live. It is the sovereign of the Pantanal sky, a key piece in the balance of the forest ecosystem. By hunting animals such as sloths, capuchin monkeys, and even large birds, it regulates populations, avoiding excessive competition for resources. With vision 8 times sharper than that of a human being, the harpy eagle detects even the most subtle movements from hundreds of meters away. Its talons not only crush the bones of its prey, but also allow it to cling to the thinnest and most fragile branches. However, the harpy eagle is not always successful. Occasionally, its prey, like capuchins, offer fierce resistance, or hide so well that the eagle is forced to retreat. But its failures highlight its true strength, extraordinary patience, and capacity for adaptation. The leaves whisper while small, quick steps move over the moist and soft earth. It is a troop of Coati that appears like a group of enthusiastic explorers, filling the Pantanal with their characteristic energy and bustle after the first rains of the season. Under the dense forest canopy, the black and white ringed tails of the Coati rise high, signaling a day full of activity. One by one, they advance like a small, perfectly organized army. The leader goes in front, sniffing intensely as if deciphering hidden clues on the ground. The forest comes alive as the troop begins its search. One climbs onto a rotting log, using its sharp claws to lift the bark and find hidden insects. Another detects the scent of ripe fruits on a higher branch and with an agile jump rises toward them. The youngest, still clumsy, follow the troop, learning and exploring with infinite curiosity. From on high, a pair of toucans watches closely, their orange beaks shining under the rays of light filtering through the leaves. They wait patiently for the Coati to drop some small fruit, to take advantage of it. The troop of Coati does not stop moving, and on its path often awakens the piraputangas swimming near the bank. But Coatis are not just explorers. They also play a fundamental role in the Pantanal ecosystem. As they travel through the forest, they disperse seeds from the fruits they have eaten. These seeds fall to the ground, nourished by the moist earth of the rainy season, and soon germinate, giving rise to new plants. Palms and shrubs grow, becoming a refuge for hyacinth macaws, food for capybaras, and shade for other creatures. Thus, the small steps of the Coati contribute silently to the life cycle of the Pantanal, a continuous cycle of destruction and rebirth. However, even in the midst of vitality, danger lurks. A fleeting movement among the bushes, perhaps a lurking jaguar. The Coati troop huddles quickly, forming a defensive circle with the youngest in the center. An alarm cry breaks the silence, spreading as a warning to other creatures of the forest. The toucans take flight, seeking higher branches. Perhaps feeling without advantage, the jaguar retreats silently, letting the forest gradually recover its usual rhythm. When the danger passes, the Coati troop resumes its activity. They climb trees, cross muddy areas, or stir dry leaves in search of insects and seeds. In the Pantanal, during the rainy season, where life explodes in color and sound, Coatis are the tireless artists who fill the perfect picture of nature with movement and music. Bird songs resonate everywhere, mixing with the rustle of leaves as a group of capuchin monkeys jumps between the treetops. This troop never rests. They are tireless gatherers with agile hands, constantly looking for ripe fruits. Each capuchin is in full action, with shrewd eyes inspecting every branch. A fruit falls into the river flowing below. Immediately, the piraputanga fish swim toward the surface, jumping to catch the fallen prize. The magical relationship between capuchin monkeys and these fish has become a unique feature of the Pantanal. The sky above them is also filled with animated sounds. Toucans with their huge orange beaks rest on high branches, watching the capuchins attentively. They are not there to compete, but to share the remains of the monkey's harvest. Where a fruit falls, the toucans fly to pick up what the capuchins leave behind. Thanks to their large but light beaks, they can expertly pick up what remains farther away. A caracara, a shrewd bird of prey, glides in high circles. It not only looks for small animals, but also any food scraps left on the ground. In the Pantanal, nothing is wasted. Although the forest teems with sounds of life, the animals do not lower their guard. Capuchin monkeys, known for their intelligence, do not just concentrate on gathering, but also constantly monitor their environment. Suddenly, a monkey stops with ears pricked. It has detected something. The rustle of leaves is not caused by the wind. A predator lurks from the dense bushes. A jaguar appears. Its steps are slow but full of authority. Its golden eyes shine as it inspects the high branches where the monkeys move. Upon noticing the danger, the leader of the group emits a loud alarm cry. The entire troop stops its activities and the young cling quickly to their mothers' backs. The group of monkeys retreats rapidly toward higher branches, out of the jaguar's reach. Under the canopy, the toucans also take off, emitting sounds that spread as a warning. The caracara bird hunting nearby also changes course and moves away from the danger area. The jaguar has not managed to catch its prey this time, but knows that with patience, the Pantanal will always offer new opportunities. When the danger passes, the troop of capuchin monkeys returns to its daily routine. The young return to play while clinging to their mothers, while at the same time learning to gather fruits. In the river, the piraputanga fish continue looking for the food scraps that the monkeys drop. The Pantanal regains its bustle as if a threat had never existed. This is the wonder of this land. Life never stops, but it also never loses its constant vigilance. Under an appearance of chaos, every creature understands that existence is an incessant cycle of hope and challenges. Let's dive into the depths of the water to witness how the predator becomes prey. A school of piranhas that is usually the terror of small fish never imagined that a giant otter could turn them into its lunch. For the giant otter, the piranha is not a challenge. With only a few precise bites, the piranha is captured by the otter's sharp teeth. In the blink of an eye, the otter comes to the surface to enjoy its meal like a true hunter. It leaves behind the silent river and the remaining piranhas desperately looking for a way to escape. Piranhas can reach a length of up to 50 centimeters, especially the red-bellied piranha. Known for being the most aggressive, they are the terror of small fish in deep waters. When they appear in groups from rocky crevices, they show their most lethal weapons, teeth as sharp as knives arranged like saw blades. At a feast, those teeth work tirelessly, being able to tear a large piece of meat in a few seconds. The black piranha, identified by its bright red eyes, possesses one of the most powerful bites among piranha species. Its strong jaw, combined with its saw teeth, allows them to cut meat with mortal precision. Black piranhas are not always predators. They are also known as the cleaners of the Pantanal ecosystem. Without hesitation, they consume carcasses of floating animals or injured fish. helping to clean the water and prevent the spread of bacteria. This role is especially important during the rainy season, when the amount of organic matter increases due to environmental fluctuations. Despite their reputation, the aggressiveness of piranhas is often exaggerated. In reality, their group hunts occur mainly when they're hungry or stimulated by the presence of blood in the water. In some regions where it is not prohibited, piranhas can be bought as pets. The red-bellied piranha is the most common species in aquariums. It is important to raise them alone or in groups of 4 or more, as they tend to show mutual aggression if raised in pairs. Although dangerous, piranhas rarely represent a serious risk to humans. However, attacks have occurred, especially in situations where the school of piranhas is stressed. It should be noted that the piranha is an agile and efficient carnivore equipped with a unique set of teeth. Whether as a predator or prey, the piranha is an essential link in the Pantanal ecosystem. They help maintain balance by controlling small fish populations and cleaning organic remains in the water. Under the vast waters of the river, they are not just small warriors, but also an extraordinary example of adaptation in an environment as challenging as the Pantanal. Here, the roles of predator and prey are constantly interchanged in an endless cycle of survival. The dry Pantanal has reached the extreme limit of its challenges, but nature always finds a way to heal. Thunder resonates like a divine judgment from the sky. The first drops of rain fall on the land. Each drop of water mixes with the dry mud like a blessing that God sends to this land. The fish awaken, jumping out of the water in a celebration of the river's resurrection. The aroma of moist earth fills the air like a hymn of gratitude from nature toward the Almighty Creator. The rain continues falling, and the Pantanal is cloaked in a new mantle. Grass begins to sprout in the mudflats that were once cracked. The palm trees that once lost their leaves now show tender green shoots. This is not only the regeneration of nature, but also a testimony of patience and faith, two values that God teaches us to preserve. Giant otters swim along the water-filled river. Each powerful dive is like a hymn to the generosity of nature. A jaguar walks slowly over the moist earth, leaving footprints in the soft mud. The jaguar is in no hurry. It observes carefully, evaluating its environment. The rainy season has arrived. The rebirth of the hunting era has begun. A sharp, clear cry like a bell breaks the morning silence. That sound spreads, opening the way to a concert of life. The Hyacinth Macaw, the largest parrot in the world, appears in the sky of the Pantanal. its deep blue wings unfold under the radiant sun, awakening life after the first rains of the season. More than 75% of the world population of hyacinth macaws lives in the Pantanal wetland. With a length of up to 1 meter, including the tail, and a wingspan of almost 1.5 meters, this enormous bird is a symbol of the region. Its bright blue plumage is unmistakable, standing out in the entire Pantanal ecosystem. The yellow edges around the eyes and the base of the beak create a perfect contrast, reflecting a unique majesty. They feed mainly on hard seeds from palm trees like the Macaw, which has a shell so hard that even a hammer could hardly break it. However, the powerful beak of this macaw can easily crush them. The flight of the hyacinth macaw is not just a displacement, but an aerial dance. They usually fly in pairs or small groups, combining resonant cries with rhythmic movements, creating a vibrant natural spectacle. Their loud and resonant cries serve not only to communicate, but also to announce their presence in the area. Each sound carries a message: to find a partner, to warn of danger, or simply to immerse oneself in the bustling atmosphere of the Pantanal. The hyacinth macaw plays an essential role in the ecosystem. They consume fruits of palm trees like the akuri and the bocayuva, emblematic species of this area. What makes them truly special is not just their diet, but their contribution to forest regeneration. While looking for food, they drop seeds on the ground or carry them far away. These seeds, when dispersed, germinate and allow new trees to grow, helping to restore and enrich the forests of the Pantanal. Macaw pairs fly from the treetops looking for ripe fruits. Below, capybaras lift their heads, moving their ears to listen to the sounds from the sky. In the lower branches, toucans also join the fruit feast, accidentally contributing to seed dispersal. In this animated dynamic, the hyacinth macaw emerges as a primary seed disperser. A pair of small wings can transform an entire forest and even the whole ecosystem. Known for their sociable, loyal, and affectionate nature, hyacinth macaws form lifelong bonds with their partners. Once they pair up, they take care of and protect each other, overcoming all the adversities of nature. In their moments of rest, they usually preen each other's feathers as a gesture of affection and affirmation of the bond. The breeding season of the hyacinth macaw coincides with the first months of the rainy season. They build their nests in high tree hollows, such as old palm trees or the majestic samuma tree. The chicks are born after 28 to 30 days of incubation. covered by a layer of soft grey down. Both the father and mother feed them with nutritious fruits, carefully protecting them until they grow. After 3 months, the chicks begin to learn to fly and be independent, although they remain near their parents until they fully mature. These majestic macaws not only beautify the Pantanal but fulfill a sacred mission: to preserve and maintain life through seed dispersal. They are a living testimony to God's creative capacity. A pair of blue wings, a resonant cry, and a seed that falls to the ground are essential elements in the eternal regeneration cycle of the Pantanal. The Pantanal, the largest wetland in the world, was once considered a paradise of life. The vast forests, winding rivers, and clear blue sky create one of the richest ecosystems on the planet, with a surface area of 42 million acres, larger than the United Kingdom. However, today this place is not just a symbol of abundance, but also a battlefield where nature and man face each other in an unequal war. In the last 50 years, the Pantanal has lost 20% of its natural surface area, which is equivalent to about 34,000 square kilometers. From the year 2024 to 2025, the Pantanal faced one of the most severe drought cycles in the history of modern observation. Rainfall decreased by 32% compared to the long-term average, causing the water levels of the Paraguay River and its tributaries to reach historic lows, and many wetlands and lakes to dry up quickly. The average temperature increased by 1.8 degrees Celsius compared to the 20th century climate base, transforming the lush land into stretches of cracked soil and a stifling atmosphere that lasted for months. In the midst of adversity, the iconic species of the Pantanal are also under great pressure. The Caiman Jaguar of the Pantanal, the king of the swamps, is forced to share the few remaining puddles with hundreds of other individuals. The survival rate of caiman hatchlings has decreased by 18% in recent dry seasons, due to the lack of food and increased competition. The Hyacinth macaw, with its bright blue wings, struggles to find the palm trees that provide its main source of food. Many trees do not bear fruit due to lack of rain, which has reduced the population's reproduction rate by approximately 15% in recent years. The species of Piraputanga fish has decreased by 27% in the last decade, directly affecting the food chain and dependent species such as the giant otter and aquatic birds. Prolonged drought also makes the Pantanal forest vulnerable to natural and man-made forest fires. Small sparks from nearby farms quickly turn into large fires. In 2025, more than 2,300 fires were recorded during the peak dry season, a sharp increase compared to 2024. Some 365,000 hectares of forests and grasslands were destroyed, an area equivalent to almost the entire city of Madrid, Spain. In the middle of a sea of fire, the jaguar has lost 12% of its hunting and refuge territory in the last 3 years. These top-level predators are forced to approach residential areas, facing the risk of being hunted. Chicks, which are very vulnerable, rarely survive the dry season due to the lack of food and shelter. The giant otter, which depends on clean water to hunt, is also seriously affected. The population has decreased by 25% in areas severely hit by drought and pollution. Many families have had to abandon their habitual territories in search of better conditions, facing a prolonged struggle for survival. The Pantanal forest, home to thousands of species, is disappearing at an alarming rate. In the last 5 years, more than 7,200 square kilometers of forest have been converted into land for soybean cultivation and cattle ranching. Vast plantations replace ancient forests, fragmenting the migratory corridors of many species. The toucan, with its characteristic orange beak, also faces an uncertain future. The loss of mature trees drastically reduces nesting sites. The number of chicks has fallen significantly, threatening the existence of the species. The water, which was once the source of life, has now become a threat. Rivers are contaminated by chemicals from agriculture and mining. Fertilizers and pesticides flow into rivers, causing eutrophication, which triggers uncontrolled algae growth and depletes oxygen. Currently, 82% of the Pantanal's sub-basins are affected by different levels of pollution. A recent study shows that the reproductive capacity of the piraputanga fish has decreased by 30%, which has an impact on the giant otter and the caracara bird. A 2025 study also recorded that the mortality rate of caiman hatchlings increased by 20%, due to the decrease in water quality. The Pantanal is a miraculous gift that the Creator has bestowed upon the earth. Even in the midst of the darkness of drought, forest fires, and human invasion, there are still tireless efforts to protect and preserve life in this place. It is a journey of faith, unity, and a constant desire for rebirth. In the vast Pantanal, nature reserves emerge as fortresses of life. The Pantanal Matogrossense Reserve, with its enormous surface area, has become a safe refuge for many endangered species, from jaguars to giant otters. A similar example is SESC Pantanal, the largest private reserve in Brazil. This place not only protects wildlife, but is also a scientific research center where conservationists work to understand how to restore and maintain this fragile ecosystem. In the Pantanal, every palm tree planted is a prayer for the future. Forest restoration projects are working hard to recover areas devastated by fires and deforestation. Since 2018, many palm trees and other native species have been planted throughout the region. Each new shoot is a renewed hope for the hyacinth macaw. God's creative work is reflected not only in ancient forests, but also in the small trees that struggle to grow in arid lands. Modern technology has become a key tool for protecting creation in the Pantanal. Satellites are used to monitor forest fires and changes in vegetation. Furthermore, training programs for local communities on sustainable resource management are generating a positive impact. The Pantanal is not just a problem for Brazil, but a global treasure. International organizations like WWF and USAID have joined forces with the Brazilian government and local communities to implement conservation projects. One of the most outstanding achievements is the recovery of the giant otter population, a species that was on the verge of extinction. Thanks to these collaborative efforts, the otter population in the Pantanal has increased more than 25% in the last decade. When humanity acts with faith and determination, nothing is impossible. Protecting the Pantanal is not just safeguarding this ecosystem, but also preserving an invaluable natural legacy for the world. If you love nature and the incredible stories of the Pantanal, we invite you to share your impressions in the comments. Your words will be a great motivation, so that together we can act in defense of the rich biodiversity of this region and maintain the beauty of the land for future generations. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventures through the natural wonders of the planet. See you in more stories full of inspiration.